Good morning, Betty. We shall start. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrittarma Amritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from darkness to light. Lead us from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. The subject of my talk today is Jagaddhatri, the guardian of the universe. Yesterday we celebrated Jagaddhatri Puja, the worship of Mother Jagaddhatri. It was a sort of private celebration because of the situation, pandemic situation. We could not invite the public, that means devotees as such, but a few volunteers were present, maybe 10 or 12. But Jagaddhatri Puja is a very important event for our center. First reason is that Jagaddhatri Puja was celebrated on the occasion of dedication of this temple in the year 1964. It was on the 14th November, our temple was dedicated. And since then, we are celebrating this Jagaddhatri Puja every year. Because of the Jagaddhatri, Mother Jagaddhatri is definitely an important form of Divine Mother. So worship is very good, very auspicious. And also it is simultaneously we celebrate the anniversary of our dedication. So in 1964, our temple was dedicated, and at the time of dedication, Swami Shraddhanji Maharaj, the past minister in charge of our center, who was here for a long time, from 58 to 96, he was here. And specially came from Portland, Swami Asheshananda. He was he was Holy Mother's disciple, and he participated in that celebration. Though Swami Ashokananda Maharaj, who was instrumental in creation of this center, was alive at that time, but he was not well, that is why he could not attend. So that was a great jubilation on the occasion of dedication, I believe. And since then I was celebrating, and many devotees, especially the devotees in the Bay Area, San Francisco, and far distant places, look forward to attend this Jagaddhatri Puja. And we celebrate it in a quite, from our point of view, in a big way. That means Puja is there, then we invite the music, we invite devotees and nuns and monks from San Francisco Center. They join us in the music as well as chanting, songs and chanting. In that way, the participation is very large. And for some time, since the 50th anniversary, that means after the celebration of the Golden Jubilee of our dedication, we have started one cultural program, which is the second part of the celebration. That means in the morning, 10:30 to say 12 or 12:30, the worship service goes on. Then we have a very good lunch. And then from 2:30 or 3 o'clock, according to the convenience of the group, which is organized by Swami Prasannath Mando of our Berkeley Center, they usually present a musical program. Musical program means related to life of Holy Mother Sarada Devi, or related to the some mythological story. In that way, that was our specialty, which is going on for some time. Very unfortunately, this year we could not arrange all those things, but the worship service, ritualistic worship service, was performed as usual. And instead of musical performance by the groups, our choir, then San Francisco choir, and also chanting by Swamis who actually used to participate, like Swami Tattamayananda and Swami Prasannatma. We just played some recorded music and some chanting by Swami Ishwadhanananda. And in that way, the day was very well celebrated. And of course, we did not have sumptuous prasad because we are missing everybody. So we are very austere. A little bit of snacks we had. So that was, in that way, we celebrated the Jagaddhatri Puja yesterday. And I thought that it will be always good to recount the story and the association of the Jagaddhatri Puja in different ways, how actually it is so important and how actually derive benefit. That is the most important part. Recounting means when we recount something, our mind actually gets associated with the stories and all those things. And that helps us in understanding spirituality and in its proper perspective. Spirituality as such is not really perceptible through our senses. So naturally stories and teachings and all those things are very helpful. And since ancient times, these stories or probably the incidents that have happened in a very, very distant past are inspiring. That means we draw inspiration, remembering them. Maybe millions of people get inspiration. That is one of the main objective of recounting the stories and remembering the incidents, and also perform the rituals the way it has been prescribed in the scriptures. So Jagaddhatri Puja is performed on 9th day of the full moon in the month between of October and November. Actually, this full moon falls sometimes in October, towards the end of October or the beginning of the November. But this time, the Indian calendar has one extra month. That means 13 years made a year. So naturally, the date for Jagaddhatri Puja fell on the second part of the November month. And then that is why we celebrate a little late. And Jagaddhatri, the story of Jagaddhatri are there in two places. That means there are two stories which has references to Mother Jagaddhatri. One is Jagaddhatri, which is recounted in the book called Keno Upanishad. In the Keno Upanishad, it is said that Keno Upanishad, it is said that in the second, it is said that Indra was a king of gods, and probably he is still there. And Indra and other gods of the heaven, on the 9th day of the full moon of the season, in the early morning, thought very proudly. You see, this Jagaddhatri Puja is celebrated just after 1 month of the performance of Durga Puja. Durga Puja we performed about a month ago. And this Durga Puja, we had the occasion of recounting the story of Mother Durga. That means Mother Durga is the form of Divine Mother, and she was given all the weapons from which were supplied by different gods and goddesses. In that way, she became invincible, and she killed that Mahishasura, that demon who was really creating havoc in the earth and heaven. So naturally, the Devas, that means gods, thought that, well, Mother Durga became invincible because we lent her our weapons. That is why she became so powerful and ultimately could kill Mahishasura. And that thought actually made them very proud. That means they thought that, yes, our power actually made, with the help of our power, or the power actually came from us. In that way, gods were very proud. So on this particular day, that means the day of this, for which we actually celebrated Jagaddhatri Puja, on the 9th day of the full moon, in the early morning, they thought proudly that they are supreme in divine power. Uh, and at that moment, that means when they had thought this, it so happened that they are, as it is called, basking in the sun of pride. Then Mother Goddess thought that it is time for me to teach them a lesson. So what happened? She came in a form which is not recognizable at all. It is called yoksho. Yokshos are a sort of spirit, you can say, that are mentioned in our scriptures, which are unrecognizable. That means no figure, actually, we can imagine, compare the figure with any other known figures. In that way, Yoksho is described. But it was a powerful what is called figure, and suddenly it appeared before them. And the king of gods, Indra, sent, and he was reported. That means in the kingdom, she appeared, and people or other devas thought that, well, who is this creature who has come in suddenly and looks so bright and all those things. So they reported to King Indra. That means something has appeared in your kingdom. Somebody has come. We cannot recognize him. So naturally, the king has to be alert. That means whether he's an enemy or friend, that needs to be figured out. So he first sent what is his deputies. Deputies means deputies are the fire, air, water. They are the deputies. That means they are the different powers that are manifest in the universe. So he sent first the uh, fire god Agni, and he approached that creature and asked, "Who are you?" Then the creature said that, "Who are you?" That means that creature wanted to know, "Who are you?" Agni said that, "I am fire." So then the creature said that, "Oh, what you can do? What qualification do you have?" He said that, "I am fire. I can burn anything that appears before me or in the world. I can burn anything. That is my power." Then silently that creature has put a piece of straw in front of that deity, that means fire deity, and said that, "Please burn this piece of straw." So he tried and tried and tried. Fire tried and tried, but unfortunately he was disappointed on that particular time or particular day, as if he has lost all power. He did not have any power. Even a straw he could not burn. So he was very much surprised and very much ashamed also, because he was so proud of his power, but in front of this creature, actually, he could not show his power. So he quietly returned and reported to Indra, "Sir, that creature I could not really figure out." And the creature said, "You show your power, but in front of that creature, I could not show my power." That means all the powers were gone. I could not burn even a piece of straw. Then Indra became a little thoughtful. So he sent his second deputy, who was air, Vayu, as it is called. And Vayu came in front of the creature. And then the creature asked, "Who are you?" He said that, "I am Vayu." "And what you can do?" He said that, "I can blow away anything in front of me." Then the creature put that straw in front of him and said that, "Please blow this straw in front of me." And the Vayu, that means air, god of air, that means all the power of air, wind, tornado. You can imagine how powerful wind can be. He tried and tried and tried, but he could not really move even what is called an inch, that piece of straw. So he tried and tried. Ultimately, he was also very disappointed and ashamed, and quietly returned to Indra and reported that, "Well, sir, I also could not show my power in front of that creature." So then there were others were also like water, and he also went there and could not show his power of washing away that piece of straw. And he also reported. And ultimately, all the what is called deputies of Indra, that means they are powerful energies, powerful deities. So they could not show their power. So Indra thought that, well, what is this? I must go and find out what is that creature in front of me. These powerful deputies actually could not exercise their powers. Then he went and in front of the deity, and at that point, the deity said that, "Well, the deity actually took the form of a mother goddess. That means Uma, as it is called. It is one form of divine mother Parvati. Uma is divine mother's form. So in that form, she said that, well, you are boasting of your power. And when I killed Mahisasura, you thought that by your power actually you have become powerful. That is why I vanquished. But now you see that all the power that you had comes from me only. If I do not give power, actually you cannot exercise power. So to teach this, actually I came in front of you by saying that actually she vanished. She vanished in the form of a what is called a bird. In that way, white bird. She flew away. And since then, actually, it is established that, well, all the powers that we have, you can see from this story that even the gods and goddesses did not have power without the presence of a mother goddess, Uma. So now the conclusion is that all the powers that we have within ourselves are coming from one source, that means divine power, and it is in the form of divine mother. So that is because all the source of power is mother, so that is called Jagaddhatri. That means she is the holder of everything. That with that power, actually, the whole universe is held together. So this is one story. Another story which appears in Sri Chandi, that means Devi Mahatma and Divine Mother's sport that comes in the book called Markandeya Purana. Purana, as I told you once, the Purana are the ancient stories. There are 18 Puranas, and Markandeya Purana is one of them, and it is a story told by Rishi Markandeya. But inside the story, another story is there, which is one Rishi. His name was Medha Muni. And this Medha Muni actually gave a discourse of the Divine Mother's presence to two of his supplicants. Supplicants means one was Suratha, he was a king, and one was a Vaishya, that means he was just a businessman, a wealthy businessman. So they lost everything, and then actually they came to this sage in the forest retreat and said that we are always pestered by the thoughts of our past things. That means I lost my kingdom, king said, but still I think, well, what my family is doing, what my ministers are doing, and whether my pet elephant is, how is my pet elephant, my horse. So all those thoughts are coming. I have quit all those things, but still my mind is drawn towards them. A sort of attachment is there. So why it is happening? This businessman also said that means Vaishya, he was really cheated by another a clever businessman, and his all business was destroyed. And he started thinking that, well, I had so much commodity, I was such a respect in the society. My family actually gave respect, but they do not pay. They drove me away because I do not have money. So, but still I think of them, though there is no necessity of thinking them. So why this attachment? Then this Medhamuni said that, well, because of this is a play of Divine Mother, that means Mahamaya. So then actually he recounted one story. The story appears in this book, as I told you, Sri Chandi. It has got other name also, that means where the Medhamuni told the story, how actually, who is that Divine Mother. So it is the story of that comes in this form. In honor and the Chandi, which is the part of Markandeya Purana, it is said that at the end of the day, that means Brahma's day, Brahma is the creator, and so creation was going on. That means creative force, the ultimate reality. That means Lord Brahma, that means ultimate reality. And according to Hinduism, everything is in the what is called one, that means Brahman. But then what is this creation? That means how we are existing. So it is said that out of his own will, he wished that some creation should be there. That means as it is a sort thought. And so mentally he created Brahma, that means a creator, manager of the creation, you can say. So, but ultimate reality, Lord Vishnu is identified as a deity, and Lord Vishnu, he was really sleeping on the lap of a serpent, divine serpent. His name was Sheshanava. That means like a boat. It coiled, and it was just on that coil actually, Lord Vishnu was sleeping, and that snake actually, the hood protecting that sleeping body of Lord Vishnu. And when he was asleep, from the navel of Lord Vishnu came out one but a lotus flower. And inside that lotus flower was sitting Lord Brahma. That means he was born there. And then he knew the purpose of his coming, and he started chanting Vedas. Because Vedas are the original scriptures, and in the Vedas everything is there. That means if you chant, actually they take form. So by chanting, actually by sound, symbol, if you call it that, by sound actually the whole creation came into existence. So he was chanting, and when he was in that process, suddenly from the 2 ears of Lord Vishnu came out to demons out of the ear wax, you can say. So he was listening, or things were going inside the ear, so wax came out, and out of that 2 demons came out, Madhu and Kaitava. And as soon as they came out, they started playing on the water, because they were demon and they are also powerful. And ultimately, they were thinking that why this water has come, and what is happening here and there. In that way, when they saw that Brahma was chanting on the inside a lotus, they went, and just out of play, they wanted to kill him. And when actually they appeared in front of Brahma, Brahma was very much afraid. That means Lord Vishnu has entrusted him with the responsible creation, and if I am killed, then things will be jeopardized. So he started praying to Lord Vishnu. That means, please wake up. I don't have any weapon. I don't have a power to kill these 2 demons. So, but he failed. That means he could not really wake up Lord Vishnu. So then actually he saw that, let me propitiate the sleep which is in hearing. That means under the spell of which Lord Vishnu is really sleeping. So mother sleep. So he started Yoga Nidra, as it is called. Yoga Nidra. That means it is not ordinary sleep. It is the Yoga Nidra. That means as if induced by yoga. So he started praying to Yoga Nidra in the form of mother, divine mother. And mother came, and mother actually, Yoga Nidra was in hearing Lord Vishnu. So mother, by seeing the situation, actually left Lord Vishnu. That means Nidra. Nidra means the sleep actually went away. So now Lord Vishnu actually woke up. And after waking up, he vanquished these 2, Madhu and Kaitava. Madhu and Kaitava, there are many other sub-stories. Madhu means that a demon whose body was very soft, like honey. And Kaitava means it was made of kastha. Kastha means wood, so it was hard. So in that way, 2 names came into being. But ultimately, they were vanquished, and then the creation continued. So now the point is that the power which inheres Lord Vishnu, Yogamaya or Yoga Nidra, that is the under which even Lord Vishnu remains asleep, cannot be awakened. So naturally that is more powerful than Lord Vishnu himself. So that power is called Jagaddhatri. That means because of her presence, actually the whole universe is being held. So there are few verses in Sanskrit, and there is also a simple meaning. I would like to recite a few of them, because originally these stories appear in Sanskrit, and our scriptures are written in Sanskrit. So Rishi Ruvacha, this is from Sri Sri Chandi. So he says, Nityaiva sa Jaganmurti staya sarvamidam tatam. Tathapi tat mutpattir bahudha suyatang mama. Devanang karya siddhartham avirbhavati sa yada utpanneti tada loke sa nittapo vidhiyate. Yoga nidram yada Vishnur jagatte karna vikrite আশ্চর্য শেষম অভজত কল্পন্তে ভগবান প্রভু তদা দাব সুরৌ ঘৌরৌ বিখ্যাত মধুকৈটভ বিষ্ণুকর মলোদ্ভূত হন্তু ব্রহ্মাণ মুদ্যত স্বনাভি কমলে বিষ্ণু স্থিত ব্রহ্মা প্রজাপতি দৃষ্টা তাবসরৌ চাগ্রৌ প্রসুপ্তং চ জনার্দনম তুষ্টাব যোগনিদ্রাং তামে কাগ্র হৃদয়স্থিত বিবোধনার্থায় হরে হরির নেত্রকৃতালয়ম বিশ্বেশ্বরীং জগদ্ধাত্রীং স্থিতি সংহারকারিণীম নিদ্রাং ভগবতীং বিষ্ণু রতুলাং তেজস প্রভু. So this is the Sanskrit portion, and there is simple translation also. I shall read that, but that is a more understandable. The Rishi means that Medhamuni, as I told you, that means the Rishi in which retreat these two persons, that means one king and a businessman went. So he said that the reason that you are being attracted or your mind is going to your past things that you do not have any connection is this, because of the power of that divine mother. So the Rishi said, she is eternal, embodied as the universe. By her all this is pervaded. Nevertheless, she incarnates in manifold ways. Hear it from me, when she manifests herself in order to accomplish the purposes of the devas. She is said to be born in the world, though she is eternal, at the end of a kalpa. Kalpa means the certain number of years. So there is one mention, I noted down, that one kalpa may be equivalent to yes, it is equivalent to 4,303,320 then that many thousand years. That means it is 4,320 million years, human years. So that is called kalpa. That is that long actually. The cycle of this creation will continue. Then actually it will go back to what is called sleep. At the end of a kalpa, when the universe was one ocean with the waters of the deluge, and the adorable Lord Krishna stretched out on Sesha, that means that snake, and took the mystic slumber. That means when Lord Vishnu sleeps, actually the whole creation actually stopped. That means it enters into him. That means things go back to its original form. And took the mystic slumber to terrible asuras, the well-known Madhu and Kaitava, sprung into being from the dart of Vishnu's ears, sought to slay Brahma. Brahma, the father of beings, was sitting in the lotus that came out of Vishnu's navel. Seeing these two fierce asuras and Janardana, Lord Vishnu asleep, and with a view to awaken Hari, Brahma, with concentrated mind, extol Yoganidra, dwelling in Hari's eyes. That means she actually comes and puts the sleep on the eyes of Brahma. Then actually whole things is what is called inactive. The resplendent Lord Brahma extolled the incomparable goddess of Vishnu, Yoganidra, the queen of cosmos, the supporter of the world, the cause of the sustenance and resolution alike. So this the goddess known as Yoganidra, the queen of the cosmos, the supporter of the worlds, the cause of sustentation and dissolution alike. So this is actually Mother Jagaddhatri. So these are the two stories which actually has come out for the existence of this Jagaddhatri Puja. That means this puja, that means this worship service is very quite important for us for certain reasons. The reason is that Mother Jagaddhatri, as you know, that when we read the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, we definitely know that Sri Ramakrishna was the worshipper of Mother Kali, and we perform the Kali Puja because our association of Ramakrishna and Ramakrishna as in Mother Kali, it is a very big event for us. So in the same way, Holy Mother Sarada Devi had her chosen ideal. She was a worshipper of Mother Jagaddhatri. So that is why it is very important for us. And this importance did not happen because of that reason only. She instituted the worship of Divine Mother Jagaddhatri herself in her native place. That means in Jayarambati. And that story is also very interesting. The story, in villages, the way we celebrate here, so in India, especially in rural Bengal, Mother Kali, Mother Durga, and Mother Jagaddhatri, for since ages, we have some devotees in whose house, in village house, the Mother Durga's worship is being performed for more than 250 years. That type of continuation is still there. So it is so important and well established, and for the devotees especially, very important. So naturally, in that way, the pujas are established. So in case of Holy Mother Sarada Devi, the story is really very interesting. The story is this. So in the village of Jayarambati, there was a villager. Villager means he was a zamindar, a probably wealthy person of the village, and he used to perform a Kali Puja every year. Probably he had also that tradition. That means probably his forefathers had instituted that, so he continued that. And of course, he was generous to invite everybody to take part. His name was Nabo Mukherjee. And it so happen in villages, sometimes there are little, what is called altercations and all those things. And they sometimes do not talk to each other, or they slander each other. And those things are quite common in village politics. In small area, actually, those things are not uncommon. So it so happened that on that particular year, due to some reason, Nabo Mukherjee did not accept the worship, what is called the Holy Mother's mother, Shama Sundari, used to offer some rice, paddy or rice for the worship service. So she had prepared all those things, but at the time of this Kali Puja, Nabo Mukherjee actually said that, well, this year I won't accept this because such and such reason, some altercation was there, whatever here. So he did not accept the offering of Shama Sundari, that means mother of Holy Mother Sarada Devi. So he was very much upset. Upset means that was a propitiation of Mother Goddess is very important for the village women. So she thought that what will happen, and this quantity of rice I have kept separate for her use, that means for her puja, worship service. So I cannot really utilize for any other purpose because it is already offered. So in that way, actually, she was thinking and spending sleepless night. But one day it so happened that she had a dream. That means in the dream, one divine form of Divine Mother came. She could not recognize what is that form, red colored and very beautiful to look at, and was keeping her one leg on the other. So in that way she was sitting. So that was an unusual image of Divine Mother. She could not recognize. And she said in the dream to Shama Sundari, mother of Sarada Devi, that, well, don't worry, I shall take in this form. In this form, I shall accept your worship. That means you do my worship and I accept the rice that you have kept separated for Mother Kali. And that actually was a solace for Shama Sundari. And when she woke up, she asked Sarada Devi, her daughter, that meant I saw this in dream, that one divine Devi. Devi means divine mother came, but I could not recognize her. But she was in great form and she was sitting in this posture. And immediately the Holy Mother said that was Mother Jagaddhatri. Mother Jagaddhatri came in your dream and she had talked to you. Then Shama Sundari told that she has said that she will accept my worship and please arrange. She has instructed Sarada Devi to arrange worship for her. So that was just after Kali Puja. The day for worship of Mother Jagaddhatri was on this 9th day of the full moon. So according to the wish, mother's wish, so she wanted to make her happy. So she arranged the worship of Divine Mother Jagaddhatri. So one image was made, and the way in the scriptures it is mentioned, all the things were done, and the Brahmins were called, and the puja was performed. And naturally, Shamasundari was very happy. But it so happened that on that, after the worship service is completed, the worship service of Mother Jagaddhatri is unique. Unique in a sense that it is done just like Mother Durga's worship. And Mother Durga's worship continues for 3 days. That means Saptami, Ashtami, Navami, 7th day of the full moon, and 8th day, 9th day. 10th day, actually, the image is immersed in water. But in Jagaddhatri's case, actually, the worship is done throughout the, starting from the morning towards the to the evening. So in that way, 3 courses of worship, if you call it, 3 days worship is performed in 1 day. That means on the 9th day, 7th, 8th, and 9th, 3 days worship is performed. So in that way, worship was performed. So the next day was the immersion ceremony, but unfortunately, the day was Thursday. And Thursday is considered to be a very inauspicious day, according to Indian, or in that part of India, it is considered to be very inauspicious for doing many good activity. That means immersion or other things, or even going from one place to another on Thursdays are considered to be very inauspicious. So that was an inauspicious day. So naturally, Holy Mother said that, well, we cannot really immerse this image on this inauspicious day. And then actually next was Friday, but unfortunately that was the last day of the Bengali month, and that is also another inauspicious day. So she thought that it is not it will not be appropriate to immerse that image on that day. Then next day actually is the first day of the new month. That is also very auspicious day, but how to what is called immerse Divine Mother's image on a what is called on this good day. That means which is the first day of the new month. So naturally, after 3 days, actually the image was immersed. So these 3 days they had to perform the worship. So that tradition, that means worshipping of the Divine Mother Jagaddhatri, though according to the scriptures and tradition, needs to be performed in 1 day, and in Jharambati, because of this what is called these incidents from at the beginning of the starting of this puja that has come down, the worship in Jharambati is performed for all the 3 days. That means 7th, 8th, and 9th days there, or 9th day, and in that way actually it continues for 3 days. So that is the speciality of Jagaddhatri Puja in Jharambati. And with Mother Jagaddhatri, Holy Mother's mother Shamasundari, when he had the dream, she had the vision of 2 what is called assistants. Assistant of Sahachari. Sahachari means friends, you can say, or those who actually, that means noble ladies. So naturally they have their other persons also, important persons also move around her. So Jaya and Vijaya are considered to be her Sahachari. Sahachari means that those who accompany her. So they are also worshipped. So in the image, usually in general, in Jagaddhatri image, Jaya Vijaya is not really there, but in Jharambati, they are made, their 2 special images are made of this Jaya and Vijaya. And in that way, it is continuing. Now, the point is that it was the desire of Shamasundari to have the worship, because the rice was there and she had a dream, and rice was offered, and then things actually ended. But it so happened that when the time for putting into the water, that means Visarjana it is called, and putting the water into the putting the image in the water came, then actually the Divine Mother's mother told in the ears of the image that, well, please come again. So she was so happy because of her presence that she told that please come again. So naturally, then again, actually once, because that was a commitment, and also Holy Mother to fulfill the desire, again perform the worship of divine Jagaddhatri Mother again next year. So in that way, 3 times actually she performed. Then she said that, well, enough is enough. 3 times it has been done. Then she thought that it is time to stop. And naturally, Mother also, Divine Mother's mother, Holy Mother's mother also agreed that, well, 3 times is enough for poor family, that is enough. But then Holy Mother herself had a dream. And then in the dream, the Mother Jagaddhatri told that, then if you just immerse us into that, so I shall go away from your house. And there is another person in the village, he wants to worship me. I shall go to his place and he will be worshiping me. Then actually, Divine Mother was shocked. And it is said that she actually in dream held the mother's feet and said, no, no, you please don't go away from my place, from my home. I shall arrange your worship every year. And that commitment actually she kept in this way. That means every year she started performing, and so that there will be no what is called a financial burden on the family. So she arranged, she bought some farm land, some 3.5 acres or 4 acres of land, where paddy used to be grown, and with the selling the paddy, the money used to come, and with that money actually she arranged the worship of Jagaddhatri every year. Now, of course, it has been, the Jayarambati Holy Mother's property has been incorporated in the Ramakrishna Mission in our order. So it is performed in a bigger way with the financial help of the devotees and others in a very big way. That means that is the biggest celebration. Many people from all over the world, actually, they have to make booking from probably 2-3 years before to attend the Jagaddhatri Puja. So in that way, it is continuing. So in that way, we see Jagaddhatri is really has become so important in the puja. Now, I have my own theory sometimes on this occasion, I repeat time to time. So all this concept of divinity has got certain amount of symbology, because stories are good for entertainment or for children, what is called, they enjoy these things, and also for villages, these stories are prominent, and they live by these stories and they look forward to these incidents. So in that way, they are important for them. But what about us actually? How actually you reconcile these old stories of Puranas to the present day? That means how actually it can be reconciled. Reconciliation will be like this. That is just a suggestion. From the present day perspective of science, these stories point out that the ultimate energy of the universe is gravity. That means holding power. You can imagine that if there is no holding power, if the sun doesn't hold the power of what is called keeping the planets in the track, actually we shall go astray. That means the earth will just what is called get out of the path and just what is called go into the cosmos. In that way it will happen. So gravity is the force which actually is holding everything together. We feel the sun's gravity. A sun also probably is feeling the gravity of another star. The astronomers will tell. And not only that, in that way, there's a series of power, gravity, that is holding the whole universe together. And not only that, if we go in the history or in the past, we shall be able to figure out that ultimately there was a sort of burst of this gravity, and since then actually the world is expanding, but still the expanded material of the world is being held together by this power of gravity. So there might be scientists will say that, well, this will go on for such and such millions or billions of years. Then again there will be this gravity will come back, and in that way they will again become one. So that is another story. But the point is this shows that the universal aspect, the ultimate energy of the universe is gravity. Without gravity, without the presence of gravity, actually the existence of this cosmos will not be maintained. Which is keeping everything. That means gravity is keeping everything in its proper place. and all other energies are different manifestations of it. That means all other energies, that means what is called, scientists are trying to prove that. You know, Einstein, actually towards the end of his life, tried to prove that there is what is called a basic energy through from which actually all the energies, unified field as it is called. So in that way, he wanted to figure out that there is some basic energy which is holding everything together. So this gravity actually is the manifestation, basic manifestation. Out of that, actually, all the energies have come out. Science is still trying to figure out what what gravity really is. Here is a clue from the intuitive knowledge of the scriptures that all forms of manifestation of energy is from gravity, which is personified and revered as the Mother Jagaddhatri. So, ordinary people are not really scientists. They cannot, what is called, go into the mathematics and all those things, all formulas and all those things. So, how to respect them? So, naturally, it is an occasion to celebrate through these stories when actually the manifestations of gravity actually we see, that means had come, and through the stories actually it is kept alive. So this is the story, or a sort of intuitive knowledge that we can really think of. That means stories are spun out of the observations that people are always seeing, but scientists want to try to find out some reason behind that, and that is why uh, uh, they always work on that. So this relationship is this, the gravity has been personified as Mother Jagaddhatri. From the stories we can really find from the symbolically. Now I shall conclude with another story, how this worship service became really very popular. Popular became, that means uh, when actually it was instituted. You will not find in all places of India that it is being celebrated. Especially, it is a popular celebration in Bengal. And in Bengal, it was started by one king. His name was Raja Krishna Chandra, and he was in Krishnanagar, that place of Nadia. He was the king of Nadia. And during the Muslim rule, during the time of Ali Khan, he was taken into captive. That means the Muslim king actually uh, took his kingdom or his zamindari, if you call it. Big zamindars are called kings. So in that way, took his zamindari and made him a subject. And he was put into the jail, prison. But after some negotiation, it was decided that the King Krishna Chandra will give certain amount of money every year to King Ali Khan. And in that way, it was decided and he was released. And when he was released, he was coming in those days, actually, the river Ganga was there, so he was coming in a boat. And before he reached his place, he heard the sound of drum and other musical instruments. And by listening to the sound of the drums and all those things, he could figure out that it was the sound of immersion of Mother Durga. That means Mother Durga's immersion ceremony is going on. So he was very much upset. And he thought that, well, because of my imprisonment, I could not perform the worship of Divine Mother, Durga. Then actually, he consulted his pandits, that means astrologers and other persons of knowledge, those who have knowledge in scripture, said that, well, is there any alternative? So they said that, yes, you can worship Mother Jagaddhatri, and she is of the same power. That means she is the same in another form of Mother Durga. So it will be equivalent to worshiping Divine Mother Durga. So she actually celebrated this Mother Jagadhatri's celebration in a big way. That means he was released. That was the happiness. At the same time, Durga Puja was celebrated. So the people of his place was not was unhappy. So in a big way, he actually celebrated that Jagadhatri Puja. And since then, actually, it is a main worship at that place, Krishnanagar, Jagadhatri. And and he had a friend who was in Chandana. He was a big zamindar also. I forget his name. And he actually, by looking to his friends puja, he also had the desire to perform it in Chandannagar. It is just north of Kolkata, that means not far from Kolkata on the river side. Previously, it was, for some time, it was a French conclave, just like British had occupied the India. So there was conclaves of Portuguese, then Danish people, and also this French. They have conclave in Chandannagar. So he instituted this puja in Chandannagar also. And there also it is celebrated in a very big way. That means it is a very well-established celebration. And their decoration of lights and all those things are world famous. That means they are invited all over the world. Especially I know that in London also they are invited on some occasion to show the decoration of lights. So they are very famous. So in that way, these two places are still means they are prominent places where Jagaddhatri Puja is celebrated, and many people, thousands of people go to witness those worships. So these are the stories that I had in my mind today to share with you. And with this, actually, it is the conclusion of Divine Mother's worship season. So we worship Mother Durga, then Mother Kali, then Mother Jagaddhatri. And same aspect, that means same Divine Mother in three aspects. What are the aspects? Divine Mother Jagaddhatri is the aspect of Divine Mother in the Sattik form. That means in a very, not much what is called aggression and all those things. In Mother Kali, actually, it is terrible. That means it is tamasic form. And Mother Durga, it is a Rajasic form. That means just like a queen or king, the way they actually, what is called, administer or punish, what is called criminals in that way. It is mildly violent. But Mother Kali is terrible. So these three aspects of Divine Mother is always that preservation aspect, then maintenance aspect, Mother Durga, and this terrible destruction aspect. So all these forms are really worshipped, and they're associated with the what is called Divine Mother's play, if you call it. That means in that way, all the energies are really playing in these three forms, and they are deified in this way. So with this, we conclude our Divine Mother's worship season. Om Madhuvatharitayati Madhuksharanti Sindhavaha Madhi Irno Santoshadhihi Madhunakta Mutosasi Madhumat Parthiva Gangrajaha Madhudaurastuna Pita Madhumanna Vanaspatihi Madhumagangastu Suryaha Madhirgavo Bhavantunaha Om Madhu Madhu Madhu. Sweet by the winds and the oceans give forth blessedness. May the earths and plants bring us health and happiness. Sweet unto us with the nights and dawns. May every particle of Mother Earth be charged with blessings. May the heavens shower us with benediction. Sweet unto us with the noble forest trees. Sweet unto us with the shining sun. Sweet unto us with the all living creation. Om, sweetness, harmony, peace. Next Sunday, our Swami Ishwadhananda will be speaking on Before We Sit for Meditation. That is on November 29th. And on Wednesday, I shall continue our study of Raja Yoga, a new book we have started. And we shall continue studying that. And also on Saturday, we shall continue the discourse of Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. So thank you very much for your patience.